Hey, what's up guys, and first of all I post a new series over on Anime King of what if Naruto was neglected with lost power and conquerors hockey. So go ahead, check out that and enjoy guys. So welcome, today I'm going to be giving you part 3 of what if Naruto was the original vampire hybrid. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels. Yes, I did have 3 of them guys, which I post what if on every single day for guys enjoy. So go ahead, click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And don't forget to comment down below and tell me if you're new so I can reply and talk to you guys myself. So without further ado or wasting any more time, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now guys. So the last spot we left off, we started with a strange location that was away from most of the elemental countries. It was underground. As you can see, there was vampires feasting on people underneath there. Yes, the place was full of them. That was until 2 men came through the door as they dropped a body of a vampire. However, he was not staked. His head was not removed, he was just dead. There was a symbol carved into his forehead. Someone was brought to the room and she was tossed on the ground roughly. The man that sat on the throne told her to explain. She told him that whoever is doing this is most likely a witch. He's correct about that. And she's using these vampires as live batteries, using them for their power source. A normal human body would go out immediately, but vampires were supposed to be eternal, but even her magic is killing them. As the man was furious about that, the girl started to mock him in a way. He proceeded to slam her in the wall and told her not to forget who he is. She made a comment about him not being terrifying or even powerful. The one that was truly powerful is now dead, he told her, as he was now in charge. She merely laughed. However, he roughed her up and had her sent back to the room. She simply chuckled inside as she told him that he will get what is coming to him. She called him Marcellus. Meanwhile, the same woman that they were all talking about had 4 bodies of 4 vampires around her. The same symbol was carved into their forehead. She then started to chant a few words. She then proceeded to absorb their literal life force out of their bodies. As she looked towards the photo on the wall that looked like an older version of Naruto, as she said, "I will find you." Meanwhile, at the village, some time had passed since the massacre of the Uchiha clan. Not much time though, as Mikato came downstairs to smell cooking. Arriving, she saw Naruto cooking at the table. Naruto and Mito had decided to come over to make sure that they weren't alone. Naruto has made abundantly clear that he was going to be there for them no matter what, as she was grateful. Despite she knowing that she was supposed to be the one to take care of the kids, she was going through a lot. There was talk between her and the Hokage. Danzo was formally dead, as Ned and the others had placed a raid. Sasuke did not know the truth why Itachi did what he did. Mikato knew that at the age that he was right now, while Sasuke was mature than other kids, he was not as mature as Naruto. She could already see it. If things were not handled properly, the hatred, the rage, would overcome him, and that is something that she did not want. No, that is something she did not want. So she kept the truth away from him for now until the time was right. However, Naruto insists that she go and watch up, which she did. Sasuke came down as he asked Naruto why was he doing this. As Naruto told him that his family did the same for him and Mito, and he would be eternally grateful for that, so he would be here to help them. Sasuke did not answer, he just walked away. Just like that, weeks passed. Weeks turned into months as they went to the academy. Months turned into years as they finally reached a point of graduation. Mito was training as the third Hokage was secretly helping her. Most would say that this was a biased act because, well, she was special. However, Tsunade had changed up the academy. The academy was much more potent and releasing stronger students, which was a good thing all around, as Mito was even able to use wind manipulation at the level that she was at right now, to show how far the academy made the students go. However, the thing was, the big problem that they had at the moment was Tsunade speaking to Hiruzen about Naruto. Tsunade's memory of that night when Mito and Naruto was born was hazy. Something did not sit right in her memory. A part of her could not remember actually being there, which made no sense since she was there. But the big mystery that she had right now was, she could clearly remember in that Kushina told her that she was only having one child. Now that was a strange thing. A girl. So that means, where did Naruto come from? Hiruzen told her that she was mistaken. Even Jiraiya told her that she was mistaken as well. There was 2 children there. Not just one. But Tsunade did not know why her memories were telling her that there was more than one. She didn't know. Something was off with her memories and she just didn't know what it was. For now though, all she had to do was keep things steady and calm as she's been doing for the past couple of years. So with that, the academy test finally came around. Their first test was a written test. After that, they were asked to come outside for taijutsu. Mizuki went a bit hard on Mito. The parents were there watching as well as Mikato was there for them. As Naruto also see one of his best friend's sister, Ami. Ami was rather strange. Her and her sister gave Naruto strange looks. And they also seemed to communicate with their eyes like they were speaking and no one was hearing. And also they were watching him keenly. Also Tsunade, she was watching Naruto as well. Mizuki did not realize that he was fighting faster because Naruto was actually keeping up with him. Naruto was even able to knock him back. That was a big surprise. As Tsunade knew that Naruto was holding back, but she didn't know the reason. Him showing that he was much stronger would be a good thing, but no, he held back majority of the time. When the time came for them to perform their ninjutsu that they knew, Mito used a wind style, as it was extremely powerful. Sasuke used a fire style. Mito told Naruto to show off a bit, so he did, as he proceeded to use a lightning element, which none of the students so far did, causing a tremendous lightning bolt from a cloud above him to strike down hard. Everyone was intrigued and surprised by that. They knew that he was strong, but this was surprising. Once again, Ami and Yujito gave Naruto a strange look, as both of them seemed to smirk. It was like they knew something that no one else knew. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the playcheck of yourself, and don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new series over on Anime King of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Lost Ability and Conqueror's Hockey. And enjoy that guys. So without further ado or wasting more time, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now guys. We begin this new episode in an unknown area. 2 people sat at the table, as it was just lit by a small lantern, giving them a small amount of light. Only their hands could be seen. As the first one on the left spoke up, it's almost like he's afraid. The one on the right then spoke next. Yes, I do not understand why though. By this time, there should be glances, memories, some indication, but there is nothing I've seen so far. The one on the left spoke up, interrupting. Are you sure that you've monitored the situation well? Of course I had. Nothing has slipped my grasp. And yet you've seen nothing, the one on the left said. The one on the right simply grumbled at that. On to different matters, the one on the left said. The Hokage. She has a strong will than we thought. Yes, I've noticed that well. She's been giving him strange looks. It's almost like she remembers something from that day. While I doubt that is what is going on, her mind is probably trying to fight against what we did. Yeah. So do we make a move against her? In this situation, she's too guarded, but I doubt that for any time soon she will find out. And by the time she does, I believe by then, things will change. On the side note, the one on the right said, we have other problems out there. They've been in hiding ever since. It's only a matter of time before they decide to strike back against us. Yes. However, for now, we'll just have to keep low. We don't have nearly the amount of power that we used back then to fight them off. Now we have to keep in hiding, so don't do anything rash. And whatever you do not give your position away. Just watch for now. Everything will be revealed soon enough. The voices that were speaking was two women, as both of them nodded toward each other, as the lantern was blown out. Time skip. The children were in class, as they were currently being told which team they were going to be on. Back in the past, the academy was structured on the weakest and the strongest, and also the one with the highest grade, but that has changed after all. Snazzy had changed up the academy. Every student in the academy had something that they went off, and all of them had a specific element and a weakness that they used to cover one another. Give Ami for example. Ami focused mostly on Kinjutsu, so she will need someone with a far range, and also a heavy hitter on her team as well. And medical ninjutsu was a standard because of Snazzy, making sure that almost everyone had a standard knowledge of healing, the basics. While most of them did not go far in that area, a lot of them had the basic standard knowledge. Ami, despite having less knowledge on other ninjutsu art, she also had knowledge on medical ninjutsu as well. She was one of the prime subjects for the medical ninjutsu classes in the academy. Mito could not perform medical ninjutsu because, well, of her status, her chakra was too, well, not hers per se, but the fox chakra mixed with hers, and it made it too corrosive, so she could not use medical ninjutsu. Naruto could use it though, while he had not shown that much aptitude for it. However, at the moment they were in the class as Aruka finished giving them all a speech as they had graduated from the academy. With that said and done, he started to list out the teams. Mito had her eyes closed, praying that she either get her brother or Sasuke in her team. At least one of them, she thought. She had a lot of friends, but she wanted at least one of them. Team 6. Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno. The pinky green Ikunoichi lit up when she heard her name on Sasuke's team. She was one of the Sasuke admirers, and that brought a smile to her face. And Kiba Inuzaka, your Jonin Sensei will be Kakashi Hatake. Hearing that, Mito already had one of her dreams dashed away. Team 7. Naruto Uzumaki. Mito took a breath. Ami Uzuki, as Ami's face remained the complete same. And Mito Uzumaki. Hell yeah, Mito said, pumping her fist up. She paused as she realized everyone is looking at her, as she kindly looked away and started to whistle. As the class laughed at that, Aruka couldn't help but laugh as well. Your Jonin Sensei will be Anko Midarashi. Team 8. Shino Aberami, Hinata Hyuga, and Yakumo Kurama. Your Jonin Sensei will be Kurina Ui. Team 9 is still in circulation. Team 10. Choji Akimichi, Shikamaru Nara, and Ino Yamanaka. Ino head slammed on the table rather roughly as she sighed. Your Jonin Sensei will be Asuma Saratobi. All of the cute boys were taken away, she said frustratedly. Up in the top corner, looks like we're on the same team, Hinata, said Yakumo. Yakumo had brown hair and dark purple eyes. Yakumo was faded with a curse. She had a curse of another personality. However, with the help of Kurina and the sealing unit, they were able to seal it off, allowing Yakumo to become a ninja. Yakumo proficient in Genjutsu. That is what her clan was famous for. Majority of them had died out in the previous war, but there were still a few of them left, as Yakumo was their heir and the most powerful member, as she was going to make her clan proud. The Kurama clan was not one to be trifled with. It was a rather powerful clan after all. The further she can go, the further she can allow her imagination to turn into reality with her Genjutsu. Yes, it was a rather fearsome ability. As Aruka finished off with the listing, as they all had to wait on their Jonin Sensei. I guess we're on the same team, Naruto, Isn't that cool? Asked Ami, as Naruto turned towards her. Of course, said Naruto. It's always good when you're in a team with your friends. As she smirked at that. No offense, Ami, said Mito. But if Sasuke had been on this team, it would have been perfect, said Mito. Ami eye twitched at that. That is really offensive, she said. But I said no offense. As Naruto bobbed her over the head. Just because you say that doesn't mean you can say something really bad to someone and say no offense, and everything's gonna be okay. But I said no offense, she said. As Naruto simply shook his head with a small chuckle. As Mito simply walked off. As Naruto glanced towards Sasuke. Well, it seems you have your own little nice team here. Sakura is one of the smartest girls in the class, not to mention her ability for genjutsu, and she has excellent chakra control. Kiba might be loud, but he's great in taijutsu and his clan techniques should help you a lot in your missions. Sasuke looked at Naruto strangely. How do you know all of that? Wait, you don't, said Naruto. You know that we're in the same class with all of them, right, said Naruto. Yeah, but why should I know all of that? Naruto chopped him over the head. As Sasuke reached up and started to rub the bump. We've been in the same class for years now, with the same members. How could you not know the least about them, Naruto said. Tuh, that's not important. Well, it's gonna have to be important, said Naruto. As you see now, they're on the same team as you. So you're gonna have to know what they're capable of, so they can help you on missions. Sasuke turned his head and whispered something. What was that, said Naruto. I said, with how strong I am I really gonna need any help? Naruto sighed. It doesn't matter how much we try, you still have that arrogance inside of you. Naruto glanced over towards Sakura. Don't worry, he said. He might seem a bit arrogant at first, but he's a good guy. Trust me, said Naruto. Of course I know that, she said. Sasuke-kun is the greatest. Oh yeah, said Naruto, remembering that she had a thing for him. So I guess we're on the same team, huh? Finally I can show that I'm the greatest in the class. As Naruto turned towards Kiba as he looked towards Sasuke. Get lost, mutt, said Kiba. What'd you just call me? As they went into a brawl. Seems like this team is gonna have a lot of... Naruto was cut off as something slammed the door open and rushed inside. As smoke bombs filled the room. Naruto felt someone grabbed him. He would have protested, but the person didn't seem like they were gonna harm them. As Naruto was taken from the room. When everyone blinked and looked around, they realized. Wait, where's Mito? Ino said. Yeah. And where's Naruto, said Choji. And Ami. What the hell is going on? A distance away, Mito and Ami was dropped to the ground, as their hands were tied behind their back, as Naruto was dropped beside them as well. Well, looky what I found right here. As Naruto glanced up towards a woman standing in front of them. She was wearing a fishnet shirt, showing that she wasn't wearing any bra, but her jacket covered the more sensitive part of her. A short skirt. As she stood with a stick in her mouth. It looked like a dango stick. Are you a sensei? Naruto asked, rather calm. Huh. You're really calm for someone that was just kidnapped, Uncle said. Well, said Naruto as he rolled. Uncle watched as Naruto rolled over and got to his feet, his hands still behind him. I realized there was no ill intent. So, I figured there was no point of fighting back. Uncle raised an eyebrow, as if you could have stopped me from kidnapping you. Oh, I didn't mean it that way, said Naruto, raising his hand. I was just saying. Oh, she said. So you're our sensei? Why the hell did you bomb the class and kidnap us? Mito asked. Dramatic effect, Uncle said. Oh, I see. You're crazy, Ami said. Wait, I know you. You do? Yeah, you're friends with my sister. Huh? Who's your... Oh, I see now. You're Yuji's little sister, aren't you? Yeah, I've seen you once or twice, but we'd never spoken together before. Yeah, just because I'm your sister friend, it doesn't mean I'll be easy on you. You got that? Well, I never said that, Ami said. Oh, just wanted to make sure that you know. Now listen up. I am Anko Midarashi, and I'll be your Jonin sensei. I am the sole leader of Team 7, so you follow my orders blindly. I am in charge. I'll put you through hell to get you at a proper state where you can properly defend yourself. Although, you three were not that useless in the academy, I read over your reports, but still it can be better. So I'll train you until your body is destroyed, and then I'll rebuild you into the finest kunoichis and shinobis to ever exist on this entire planet. Do you understand me? Hell yeah, said Mito, pumping her fist in the air as she liked this woman's attitude. You seem like a really awesome sensei, and you're also a bit crazy, which will make this very fun, so hell yeah, Mito said. As both of them looked towards her. You know, their attitude is kind of the same, said Ami. Yeah, I'm just noticing that now, said Naruto. As he scratches out of his face. Uncle Blink, how did you get out of the ropes? Oh, you probably didn't tie them too well, said Naruto. No, I made sure that they were tied well. As she looked behind him and saw the ropes on the ground. Do you have some kind of superhuman strength or something, kid, she said. As Ami narrowed her gaze at that. I'm sure that you were just in a rush so you didn't notice. You're probably right, Uncle said. Now, I want all of you to meet me at Training Ground 44 tomorrow. Wait, where's that, Ami said. That's your first mission. Find Training Ground 44. Oh, and if 8 o'clock passes and you're not there, I'll send snakes after all of you. To devour you, she said. You're joking, right? Ami said. As Uncle started to laugh. Of course I'm joking, she said. I'll not just send snakes. I'll be hunting you with kunais as well. She then proceeded to vanish away. Well, she was awesome, said Mito, cutting off Naruto. You really think so, said Naruto. Yeah, said Mito. I mean, come on. She's all cool and badass. I bet she's a really powerful kunoichi. And with her as our sensei, we're gonna get a lot stronger as well. As Naruto gave her a look. Hey, what's with that look, she asks. Just wondering how crazy you are, said Naruto. Hey, I'm not crazy, she said. Oh, by the way, me and the others are gonna meet up. A little celebration for us passing the test. You wanna join, she said. As Naruto stretched his hand. Sorry, I have things to do. Like what, she asks. I'm gonna take a stroll, Naruto said. She's sigh, you and your strolls. I'll see you later, Ami said Naruto. As Ami nodded her head. What is he talking about, Ami said, once he was gone. Well, he loved to just walk around the village and do whatever. Come on, Ami, she said, grabbing her hand. Let's go and meet up with the others. Well, I do have... You're coming, no buts, said Mito. You and my brother are really close. So, as my team member now, you're gonna have to become my friend. Do I have to? Ami asks. Yeah, of course you have to, said Mito, as she dragged her along. Time skip. Not that this is not nice and peaceful, but wouldn't you rather hang out with the kids your own age? Asked Mikato, as she was at one of Naruto's favorite spots. Naruto was fishing like he always did, pole in his hand, as Mikato sat on the grass. What can I say? I'm not that all much for... well, a lot of noise, said Naruto. The peaceful stuffs always get me going. You know, you're a really complicated child. You're not the first to say that, said Naruto. As there was a peaceful silence between them. No awkwardness. Until she broke it, Naruto. Can I ask you something? As Naruto glanced towards her. Why do you hold back, she asks. What do you mean, said Naruto. You've never lied to me before, so I don't expect you to start doing it now. Why do you hold back, she asked him. And I asked you, what did you mean? In everything. I've seen how quickly you can gather information. I've seen how quickly you can move when you want to. I've seen how strong you are. Why exactly do you hold back? Even at the final testing, the lightning technique that you use was a B-rank technique. Granted, the Hokage has changed the academy for the better. Someone with your status should not be able to produce something so powerful so early yet. And that begs the differ that you've been holding something like that for the longest time now. I know that my son Sasuke is strong, but I've seen you in action before, Naruto. When you practice by yourself, the sudden movements you make, the way you think. And I can tell that you're holding back drastically. I've tried to figure you out for these past few years, but I can't. So I figure I'll just ask. You never lied to me, so I figure you will tell me the truth. As Naruto was quiet for a long while, she did not say anything though. As the silence was calming. A few years ago, my sister was attacked for being the 9th year host. You remember that, correct? She nodded her head. Do you remember what happened afterwards? Yes. Another reason why I asked you while you hold back. Given the fact that civilians are not that strong, you took down at least 50 of them. You sent them all to the hospital. Before that day, I never really been in a fight before, said Naruto. Even with my sister always bothering me for practice, I've never really wanted to fight. I mostly always ponder off to Sasuke. However, on that day, Naruto turned towards her. She saw his eyes. They seemed different. Something inside of me just snapped. I was so angry, the rage. I never felt such rage before. And something inside me just moved. I couldn't control myself. My anger was out of control. I've never thought a human being could possibly be that angry. Thoughts start to flood my mind. Thoughts that I never thought of before. Thoughts of what, she said. Of killing. Of ripping them all to shreds. The anger wanted me to snap their necks, rip their hearts out. And I didn't want to do that. So I settled for knocking them out. But days passed and that anger never subsided. It was only after a week I was able to properly calm myself down. Each day while I saw my sister. Each day I pretended to be happy and normal for her sake, but that anger inside me was still fresh. Normal people are not supposed to have that. So for the longest time now, I've always held myself back, believing that maybe I'm some kind of monster. And if I let myself loose, it will consume me. Despite Naruto being 13, he was wrapped up in a hug that Mikato could do comfortably because their height was not different. Never, ever say that to yourself again. You're a perfectly normal young boy. That might be too smart for his own good, she said with a small chuckle, as Naruto simply chuckled a bit. But you're not a monster. You're not a bad person. You just love too much. You saw your sister being hurt. And for reasons you couldn't understand why these people are doing this, it caused you to lash out in violent ways. Your mind, subconsciously, repressed the thought of your sister being hurt. So every time you saw her for that week, the rage came back. Until you finally realized that she was okay. That is when it went away. You've been holding this in for the longest time now, but you should know. You are no monster. You're one of the kindest, most gentlest boys I ever met. So don't call yourself a monster, okay? Alright, said Naruto, as his arms were wrapped around her in a hug. They stay like that for a long while. Not that I don't mind comforting you, but... she said looking down. It's so comfortable, said Naruto. She raised her hand and whacked him over the head, as Naruto backed away, rubbing his noggin. I told you, she said, you're a child, so behave like one, as she scolded him with her finger. As Naruto chuckled at that, he just found it funny. The two of them stayed like that as time seemed to pass as they conversed, as Naruto stopped fishing and sat down with her. Most people weren't able to pass by this scene because they were in a training ground, and the pond that Naruto used was a bit over a steep, small cliff, so people were not able to see them or even hear what they were doing. As they spoke to one another about mundane normal stuff, as Naruto told her about his sensei, she told him that Anko was a bit, well, she was Mito times 10. As that made Naruto cringe. Mito could be crazy sometimes, yes. And if Anko was Mito times 10, that meant, well, she was insane. Naruto had suddenly come to a stop in the middle of their conversation, as it made Mikato realize they'd been talking for so long. The place had gotten darkened. It seems that the time has escaped us, she said, as she looked up to see a strange look on Naruto's face. What's wrong, she asked, as Naruto looked around. Nothing, he said. Naruto, what's wrong, she said, knowing that something was wrong. I just got this bad feeling all of a sudden, he said to her. He turned back towards her with a smile. I'm sure it's okay though. He then reached out and took her hand, as he placed a kiss on the back of her hand. It's been wonderful, he said. I'll see you soon, he said, but I must be going now. She just nodded her head. Sometimes he just did some things out of nowhere, like those old samurai gestures by kissing the back of one's hand. As he gave her a smile before he made his way off, she got to her feet. That was a lovely conversation. She had a lot of older friends, her age, and yet Naruto and her always had the most wonderfulest talks. As she made her way to go and check up on her son, she and him had spoken before she had left, and he said that Mito was going to come by and drag him out to come to some kind of celebration. As Sasuke was rather upset that Naruto didn't have to go but Mito was stubborn. She would literally drag him out there, and that is what she proceeded to do, as Mikato only found it funny. As for Naruto, he kept on walking until he arrived to the forest. A rather out of the way forest, as he didn't know why his senses brought him here. That is when he heard rustling in the bushes. The trees parted as a gigantic bear stepped out. The bear had a scar from its left eye going down. It looked ferocious as it looked towards Naruto, like it was about to pounce. Yet Naruto did not move or show any signs of fear on his face. Naruto felt a strange sensation coming from the bear. He turned his head to the left. The bear seemed to mimic his movements, turning its head as well. The bear then sniffed before it started to walk. Naruto watched it as it paused, gesturing for him to come along, with just a simple movement of its head. As Naruto followed behind the bear, Naruto saw other animals emerging from around the forest. These animals were not like the ones in the Forest of Death, as Naruto was surprised a bear like this was out here. Usually this thing was locked away somewhere else, most of the Forest of Death. Of course Naruto knew exactly where that was located, while the others might not know he did. It was a place that only Chonins or Jonins can go into. However, it's been in there before, so Naruto was surprised this bear was here. From as long as he knew, Naruto had a sense of connection with animals. They always seemed to not try to harm him. He didn't know why. And now this bear was leading him. He could tell that it was leading him towards his sister. The feeling that he felt was coming from his sister. Despite not being close to her, he could feel that something was wrong. Meanwhile, deeper in the forest, Mito was panting, as there was blood running down her arm. Glancing up, Mizuki had a kunai that was covered in blood. The kunai was stained with blood from Mito. And over to the side there was an unconscious Iruka, with a shuriken embedded in his back. There was a mark on his forehead showing that he was hit rather roughly, knocking him unconscious. "And now, you demonic brats, I'm gonna kill you," said Mizuki as Mito picked herself up. Things went so bad so quickly. Mito was coming back from her meeting with her friends. Once they split apart, she ran into Mizuki in the dead of night. As she was going back home, the place had gotten dark enough. She noticed that Mizuki was moving fast. That is when he told her that it was a escapee trying to leave the village. He asked for her assistance. Being the helpful person she was, she tagged along. However, the moment that she got to the forest, he suddenly turned around and slashed her across the arm. He then hit her in the stomach, before he punched her across the face. Mito was confused and never expected any of this, as she was caught off guard. He then proceeded to use a kunai to stab her right in the side, and now she was in pain on the ground. Iruka had showed up and tried to help her. Turns out that Mizuki had stolen the forbidden scroll of sealing, killing a Chunin while he did, and there was a hunt out for him. However, he was one of the few that always hated Mito, and before he left he was gonna kill her. That is why he brought her out here, and she fell right into his trap, not expecting him to turn and attack her like that, which is a perfect move until Iruka showed up. He hit Iruka in the back with a shuriken, the Fuma shuriken that is, before knocking him out. Iruka was a friend of his, while it was just a fake friendship because now he was betraying the village that he swore to protect, but that was a lie. He was never loyal to begin with. He had other means of loyal. He had other ties with people outside the village. The reason why he was able to get the forbidden scroll was because of a man that people believed that was dead, but that wasn't the case. Danzo Shimura had escaped that night, yes he did. Danzo was the one that gave him the location and how to retrieve the scroll without being caught, but he messed up and he got caught by a Chunin. Mizuki did not even know that he was speaking to Danzo. He thought he was talking to Orochimaru, his new master who was going to give him all the power that he could receive. However, Aruka had to show up and he had to put him down. But now, it was over. He ripped the Fuma shuriken out of Aruka. As the man winced in his unconscious state, his body recoiling in pain. "You bastard! Don't hurt him!" she yelled. Hurt him? Unlike you, Aruka is not a monster. I'm gonna do this village a favor and kill you right here and now. Aruka just got in the way. While I don't really care for him, I have nothing against him, so you're the only one that needs to die. As Mito got to her feet. What's this? Even after that wound, you still able to stand. I'm surprised. Well, a monster like you has limitless power, but I'm going to cut all of that away. As he rushed forward, as Mito got back to her feet, ready to fight until a huge bear jumped in the way. Mizuki had to flip away. Thanks, a voice said. The bear looked back before making its way off back into the forest. As Mito felt someone behind her, the sensation was so friendly and warm. Brother, she said, as she felt the hand rest on her shoulder. As Mito was turned to face Naruto, a smile came on her face. He's a traitor, she said. He's stealing something very important. You have to stop him. It's alright now, said Naruto, looking her in the eyes. Just rest. Once you wake up, everything will be dealt with. Yeah. I'm tired, she said. I'll rest. As Mito ended up falling right asleep in his arms. As Naruto picked her up, holding her against him. As Mizuki laughed. You know, and here I thought I wouldn't get my revenge. You, the brother of that demon. Naruto said nothing to him. You got a lucky shot on me during your final exam, but here I can finally repay what you did. Mizuki twirled the Fuma shuriken as it slammed into the ground. Because Naruto was no longer there, Mizuki looked around confused. That is when he saw Naruto a distance off. Naruto placed Mito against a tree, laying her down gently. He leaned and kissed her on the forehead, before he pulled back to his feet. As Naruto turned towards him, you know I can handle the glares that they send my sister away. I can handle the whispers. But one thing that you people seem to mistakenly do all the time is think that if one of you touch her, you will get away. Mizuki laughed at that. Just because what happened in the exam, don't believe that. Naruto rushed forward. Mizuki was cut off as he brought up the kunai. He slashed at Naruto, but Naruto flipped over him. Mizuki reached and grabbed Naruto's leg. However, Naruto twisted his body. Mizuki was shocked as Naruto was able to turn his body, despite Mizuki holding onto his leg. Naruto's feet came down and the force slammed in the side of Mizuki's face. He was sent sailing as he crashed into a tree with tremendous force. Mizuki regained his sense as he looked up. A strange purple aura started to whip off Naruto's body, and it started to gather around him. The night seemed to get darker as the atmosphere seemed to drop. As Mizuki noticed that he could see his breath. What makes you people think that you can hurt my sister and just get away with what you believe is right? You have no idea who or what I'm capable of, and yet you believe hurting her is something that is okay to do. And yet you call her a monster and you're okay with hurting a child. Mizuki forcefully got up as his body started to tremble out of his own control. I don't know what the hell you're doing, but know this. You don't scare me. As Naruto started to walk forward, Mizuki started to back up until he hit the tree. Do I look like I'm trying to scare you? Why should a man that has forfeited his life be scared? You know what you did. You know it's your time to die, said Naruto. Why be afraid? Naruto's eyes started to glow red. Death is upon you. Death cannot be taken away. Death is what is truly everlasting, said Naruto as he kept on walking. Mizuki started to sweat as he tried to find something, but his hands and legs were not responding. The aura seemed to get thicker and thicker. As the purple aura seemed to grow, it wrapped around Mizuki. Despite nothing physically touching him, his body was shaking uncontrollably. He dropped to his hands and knees. Please, don't kill me, he begged. As Mizuki didn't know what came over him, but the fear was too much. Shivers running down his spine. The fear of being ripped apart was so close. It was so deadly. Please, don't kill me, he said, dropping to his hands and knees, bowing his head in fear. As Naruto stood over him, why shouldn't I, he said. We both know that you deserve it. I'm sorry, said Mizuki. I didn't mean to. Naruto gripped him by the throat and lifted him up with one hand. As Mizuki was trembling, you're lying. You wanted to hurt my sister. You wanted her to die, didn't you? Answer me, Naruto yelled. Mizuki's eyes seemed to make contact with Naruto's red eyes. Yes, he said, speaking out of terms even though this would get him killed, but he couldn't stop himself. She's a monster. She deserved to die. She deserved what is coming to her. She's a beast, an abomination. Naruto gripped his throat. I didn't mean that, said Mizuki. It just, as Naruto gripped his throat tighter so he couldn't speak. Enough talking. I'll rip you apart, said Naruto. The aura around him started to tear. Time and space itself, as the fabric of the universe itself started to be ripped. Something strange was happening. As Naruto did not even notice that, the world around him started to be torn. As Mizuki started to tremble until Naruto pulled his hand back. He was about to until stop. As Naruto paused, the whole world seemed to return back to normal. Naruto blinked as his eyes returned back to the color that they were. He looked as he saw Anvu move towards Aruka, checking his pulse before the Anvu hand started to glow green. As Naruto saw Anvu standing there, looking down towards him, Mizuki was on his knees. We'll handle it from here. Oh, right, said Naruto, as he backed himself away. The Anvu over to the side glanced as he saw all sorts of animals, even a bear that was supposed to be in the forest of death all the way out here. However, they were all just standing there, their eyes focused on this one child. But the moment they arrived, it just seemed to just stop, as all of the animals proceeded to walk away. Mizuki had soiled himself in both areas, as he was on the ground, trembling. The Anvu tried to touch him, but he screamed, as Anvu simply gagged his mouth, making him shut his mouth. Mizuki tried to crawl away and run in fear as he saw Naruto looking at him. As Naruto moved toward his sister, with a fox inside of her, she healed rather quickly so he was not worried about her wound. However, the Anvu, as she was wearing a mask with purple hair, checked on his sister. She will be just alright. Thank you, Eugeo-san, said Naruto. Eugeo blinked as she turned towards him. Oh, I apologize, said Naruto. I mean, Cat-san, he said. She said nothing as she simply nodded her head. The Anvu then filed out, as Naruto picked his sister up. After the Anvu had told him that the Hokage would probably want to see him, he made his way with Mito. However, not too long after, Eugeo arrived back on the scene. You can come out now, she said. It did not take too long as someone appeared, as it was a strange glow, and the person appeared. Standing on the tallest tree over there was Ami. As she jumped down, there wasn't a sound as her feet hit the ground. There was a blush on her face, as Eugeo raised her eyebrow looking at her. What can I say? I felt his power. It was so amazing. Just as before, she said, as the blush on her face seemed to increase. Get a hold of yourself. What else happened, she said. You're right. A lot is locked away still. However, I don't believe he remembered anything. His mind seemed blank, almost like he didn't even know what is going on. However, the instinct to kill is still there. As Eugeo seemed happy about that. Time skip. Mito had woken up and asked what the hell happened, as Naruto told her that the Anvus arrived and took Mizuki. He did not tell her about the part where, once again, he felt like he was about to rip Mizuki apart with his bare hands. He kept that to himself. She was glad. He then proceeded to bump her in the head for being tricked so easily, as she apologized, saying that it was not her fault, as she never thought that he would turn against her like that. But now she knew better. The next morning, all of them gathered. Once they were gathered, Naruto brought them to the Forest of Death, because he knew where it was. That is why they didn't need to worry. Arriving towards the location, they had time to spare. So, what do you think she's gonna let us do? Ami asks. Perhaps she's gonna let us go in here, said Naruto. Huh, are you mad? She might be crazy but not that crazy, said Naruto. What do you mean? Ami said. Well, you did not know about this place but I do. They said that only high-class Jonins can get permission to train in here. And Jonins as well. Genins not so much, and even low-class Jonins as well. What's so special about this place, said Mito? It's filled with man-eating plants and animals that will rip us apart, said Naruto. It's real that dangerous? Yeah, it's an Anbu training facility as well. How do you know this? Mito asks. Well, unlike you, I gather information about a lot of things. Hey, are you saying I'm dumb? Not in so much words. Oh, she said. Hey, she shouted at him, realizing it's an insult. As the two started to bicker, Ami simply chuckled. Well, at least you two get along well. So our teamwork should be fantastic. Considering that you pulled me all over the other day, doing your nonsense. Hey, it wasn't nonsense, said Mito, looking towards Ami. We had fun, didn't we? As much as I hate to say, yeah, we did have some fun. It wasn't half bad. As Mito smiled at that. Well, look like you guys passed my first test. As they looked up to see Anko as she flipped out of the forest, flipping over the gate landing. So cool, said Mito, as she really admired Anko. You know it, Anko said with a grin. Now, as I was saying, you three have not become Genins just yet. What do you mean? Of course we're Genins. Let me explain, she said. In order to become full-fledged Genins, you will need to pass my tests. Each Jonin Sensei has their own tests, and mine is quite simple. Survive 3 days in the forest of death. But this place, isn't it? Yes. But where? Yes. So where? Yes. Uncle said, cutting Mito off every time. Yes, this place is for Jonins and high-class Chunins and even Anbus, but... Well, I'm your teacher, so what I say go. So you're gonna throw us in a dangerous place that might get us killed, said Ami. Yep, said Uncle. And you don't see any problem with that, despite we're just new fresh Genins. Nope. Oh. So you are crazy? Yep. And you're gonna follow my rules blindly, Uncle said. Now as I was saying, 3 days. Wait, what's about food? I can't go 3 days without ramen. Well, that's your bad luck. Why do you think I didn't tell you anything about what you're gonna do? Because survival tests. You're to survive in there. Animals are inside. Now, she said, open the gates. You better begin now or I'll start hunting you. What? Well, when you mess up or do anything stupid, I'll hunt you, Uncle said. Like this. She threw 3 kunais towards him as they ducked out of the way. Are you trying to kill us? Ami said. Well, if you do stupid things and don't listen to my rules. Maybe not, she said. Now, get to it, she said. Let's just go because she seemed to be getting worse as the time goes on. Uncle chuckled happily as Naruto stepped foot in first, as the other two followed behind him. Uncle stood there with a smile. Someone then landed down beside her. I still think that this is a terrible idea. It was our friend Kurenai. Come on, Nai-chan. You did your test yesterday, and your students passed. Give my students a shot. Look, Uncle, I'm not saying that you can't test them, but they're not ready for this. These 3 have good scores in their class. And they're also powerful, and besides, I'm not that heartless, Uncle said. I am going to be watching them. So in 3 days' time when they walk out of there, on their feet as strong as ever, you'll understand that this had a purpose. Kurenai sighed. Fine. I'm going to go meet up with my team. Remember, Uncle, you're a newly promoted Jonin. That doesn't mean that you can use your students however you want. You're supposed to take care of them and protect them. Of course I know that, Uncle said, waving her off. Just because you were Jonin before me doesn't mean I need a lecture all the time. Well, sometimes you scare me because of how crazy you act, so I might as well give you a lecture whenever I can. As Uncle stuck her tongue out at her before jumping off into the forest. Meanwhile that was going on, Tsunade stood in front of the prisoner who was locked up. As Mizuki was still trembling, She glanced over towards the doctor that was standing there. What's wrong with him? She said. It's like his mind has went through a state of shock. The envoy said that they found him like this after his encounter with the one that stopped him from escaping. Naruto, said Tsunade. Yes, the doctor said. Can you hear me? The doctor nodded, but his functions are not behaving like I thought they would. What do you mean? I'm not sure what could have put him in this state, but something scared him really badly to the point where he locked himself in his own mind in nothing but fear. Tsunade walked over towards him. She snapped her finger in his face. He screamed and ran back towards the wall and pressed himself against it. See what I mean? The doctor said. Yeah, she said. As she looked towards him, is there any way to fix this? With therapy perhaps, but that will take a long time. I don't have time for that, she said. I need to know what happened. But Hokage-sama, the scroll had been retrieved. Is there an urgency to why you want his condition to change? Yes. That is not for you to know though, she said as she left. Tsunade didn't want to know what the hell did Naruto do to this guy. He did not even touch him, and yet, look at him. Tsunade had no problem with Naruto. He explained that he had saved his sister and the envoys arrived, but she just did not believe him. She did not see him as an enemy or anything, but it was just something that she just couldn't put her finger on that she had to know. Time skip. 3 days later. Ramen. 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 I want ramen, she yelled. As Naruto carried his sister out of the forest on his back, her arms wrapped around his neck. As Mito was on his back as he was giving her a piggyback ride. I need ramen, she yelled out. Mito, you're right next to my ear. You're gonna make me go deaf. I can't help it. It's been 3 days. I need it. Please bring me there. I'll give you whatever you want. Just get me some ramen. I can't go on like this. Please, I'm begging you, she said. A bit over dramatic, wouldn't you say? Ami said beside her. Ami had several cuts and scratch over her, as Mito had them as well, but Naruto just had a few scuff marks on his arms, but no real scratches or cuts. Fine, I'll get you some ramen, said Naruto. Happy now? Yeah, but you're gonna have to get me enough to make up for the 3 days of me missing ramen. I don't wish to go bankrupt, said Naruto. But please, I'm your lovely little sister. I thought you said that you were the older one, said Naruto. In this situation, I'll be your little sister. Just get me ramen. Clapping could be heard as they all looked up to see their fearless sensei. Uncle walked over without a word and just wrapped the three of them in a hug. I'm so proud of you kiddies, she said. You all passed my test without even me having to interfere. I can see it now. Team Uncle being the greatest throughout history. How did your student end up as powerful as they are? Oh, I forgot. You're the dear Mistress Uncle, aren't you? You're the reason why they're so powerful, aren't you? Uncle said. Of course I am, she said, talking to herself. And she started to laugh as Mito kept on screaming ramen. As Naruto sighed. He was on one heck of a team. Time skip. Team 7 reported in for their first C-rank mission, Uncle said. Uncle had them work on training with one another for the next few days. Once a week was up, she brought them to the office to get their first C rank. Academy students were who did the D rank, as Tsunade made sure that they had experience while they were in the academy. So once they got out, they can do C rank missions. Nothing about that for at least 3 months. Once they gain more experience, they can go on higher level C rank, because she would just allow them to go on low level C rank, like getting someone home and protecting someone. No, missions that go beyond the border to any other country. Only the ones in their vicinity and the ones they were allied to. They were not going out of the border just yet. She wanted to make sure they had more experience first. This world was very dangerous. Although werewolves were rare, they were still out there, and they were indeed vile, vicious beasts. Vampires were deadly. Yes, shinobis can handle themselves, but vampires were fast and tricky, and would do anything to get the taste of a human blood. So they had to be careful, and not to mention witches. unpredictable, powerful, and very dangerous. So yes, there was a lot of things out there to fear. That is why Snazzy wanted to make sure that all of them were ready. Mito was dressed in a dull red skirt, black shorts underneath, sandals on her feet. She was wearing a red jacket that was opened up as a white shirt was underneath it. Her kunai punch strapped to her thigh, as she had a small bag on the back of her back as well, with a few things stored inside. Ami was dressed in a blue crop top, with a mesh shirt underneath that showed off her stomach. She was wearing blue shorts, with black sandals, and there was also a sword strapped to her back. She had a pouch in her waist and one on her thigh as well. As for Naruto, it was hard to say what he was wearing because he had a black cloak over what he was wearing. It stopped right about his knees, so you could not see anything, as his hands were even underneath it. But his hair was slicked back, as usual. It did not take long for Snazzy to go through the filing, as she handed Anko something. As Anko's face seemed to lit up with joy. "Alright," she said. "We'll get this done in no time." "Alright, you four. Be careful," said Snazzy. As all of them gave her a nod, she bade them farewell as they made their way. Soon after, Team 7 arrived. Team 7, reporting in for another mission, Kakashi said, looking towards his team. As Sasuke simply wore that cool expression as always, Sakura was looking towards him with a happy smile, and Kiba had his hands in his pockets, a puppy on his head. "Ah, Team 7, said Snazzy. "I have the perfect mission for you." Time skip. "So, what are we gonna do?" said Ami, as they now all stood at the gate after gathering a few stuff. "It's quite simple. This scroll contains a very classic artifact that we're going to be delivering to the Land of Grass, a material collector there. Seeing that we don't have any clients with us, we can take through the trees, so it should not take us long but a few hours to get there." "Alright, now Team Anko, move out," she said, and with that they all took off, leaping to the trees. Around an hour later, Anko was once again speaking to them. "I expect Team Anko to have a 100% track record, so we will not be failing any mission." "But what if that is out of our grasp, Sensei?" said Ami. "Of course it's not," Mito said, speaking before Anko could. "I mean, come on. You're a soon-to-be Kinjutsu master. I'm a powerhouse. And you're," she said, she turned towards Naruto, "you're basically good at everything. And our Sensei is downright awesome." As Anko smirked at that, "So, the possibility of us failing a mission is non-existent," she said. "Stop here," Anko said. As they all came to a stop, they landed down on the ground. "There's a few things I want to talk to you guys about first, before we get on moving anymore." "What's that?" "Alright, listen up. First thing first. You all chose this field knowing that one day you'll have to kill, correct?" They all nod their head. "So, I'm gonna help you all through it. I know that it can be hard on one psyche to deliver their first kill. So I want to be there when you do it, so I can help you all through it, to make sure that you're ready and prepared and don't freeze up on the battlefield. So, soon enough you will all have to do your first kill. Do you understand me?" she said. As Ami seemed okay, she nodded her head. Mito, on the other hand, was... well, she knew that she had to kill, but Naruto placed a hand on her shoulder. "Come on," he said. "It's not like you're gonna kill good people, or anyone that don't deserve it. I know that sounds kind of harsh, but it's not like that. You're killing to protect your fellow man, and to complete your mission. And you've been told this several times. There are a lot of bad people out there who would like to see harm comes to you and everyone that you love." Mito nodded her head. She looked towards Naruto. "Are you gonna be okay with it?" she said. As Naruto chuckled. "Come on," she said, "this is not funny. I told you before. Protecting your fellow man and making sure that you're safe is what we ninjas live for. It's our code, the will of fire, and completing our mission. And I will do whatever it takes to protect you. It doesn't matter what it is." As Uncle smiled at that, at first she thought that it would be a problem for the two of them being on the same team, but, well, their relationship don't kind of switch a team in one way because they were also friends with Ami, so that was a good thing. As Anko couldn't help but smile some more. Alright, she said. Another thing. As she pulled out a scroll and unsealed 6 wooden stakes. Are those what I think they are? Yeah. We all know that there are vampires in this world. Beasts that suck on human blood. They're quite ferocious. Wait, you fought one before? Anko smirked. Try a couple. As Mito eyes widened at that with sparkles in her eyes. Really? Yeah. They were strong, but I was stronger, Anko said. What was it like? Mito asked. Well, for one, they're fast. And also strong. Without even using chakra. Because technically they can't because they're dead, you know? As Mito nodded. So, stakes can actually kill them, Ami asked. Yeah. Stakes, anything do with wooden can kill them. And also, removing their head. But remember, kunais, jutsus, yeah, they can hurt them, but they're not gonna kill them. I made that mistake once when I burned one of them and he just walked through. He recovered, but it took him a while, and that gave me the time to stake that bastard right in his chest. But remember this, vampires are not good. They're the lowest of the low. They're monsters. They will try to act all innocent, but they're just after your blood. What about werewolves, said Mito. Werewolves are rarely seen. Up to this day I have not seen one. And witches, Ami asked. I've heard about them, but I have not really seen one myself either. The vampires are all over. The stronger ones lurk in the darkness and stay by themselves, but the weaker ones, the newborns, they're all over the elemental nation. So far, none of them are part of any villages, but they're all out here in the woods, in the desolate areas. Sometimes they travel in packs, sometimes they stay by themselves. So, I need all of you to be prepared. As she gave each of them 2 of the stakes. As Mito looked it over, it was well crafted and sharp. Aim for their hearts and do not hesitate. This is not like killing any normal human. They're already dead. You're just stopping them from ripping your throat open. Do you understand me? She said. Yes, Sensei. They all said to her. Alright. Now let's get moving, she said. A distance away, it seems that the group was about to run into a bit of trouble, seeing that there was blood on the ground. Traveling to a small little hut. It was like a cave with just trees dangling over that provided a little shade. There was a girl inside, her body was lifeless, as she was being sucked of all her blood. Lifting his head, a vampire could be seen. Someone stepped in and told him, Boss, we have a few more coming this way. However, they're ninjas. Ninjas? Konoha, I presume, the boss said, as he threw the girl aside. Yes. You know, they say that Konoha ninjas have the sweetest blood. Where are they? They're a few minutes out, but they will be passing by here soon. What should we do? Gather the boys. Let's go meet this Konoha group, the boss said, with a glint as blood was running down his lip. Meanwhile, at another unknown location, a man was trembling in fear as he looked up as he saw heels in front of him. He was picked up by the collar and lift. The woman in front of him straightened him out. The woman had black hair and piercing eyes. She was incredibly beautiful. No need to worry, honey, she said, as she rested a hand against his cheek that caused him to flinch. I'm not gonna hurt you, she said. You know, I spent a long time looking for you, so why would I even harm you? You were looking for me, he said. But why? Sorry that my associates that went to find you showed you that they were demons of the night. She said with a small chuckle, as he swallowed thickly. What do you want? A few years ago, you were a caravan owner, correct? Yes, he nodded his head. Several people died in the attack of the nine-tailed fox, a beast that ravaged the land of fire. Do you remember that? It attacked a village known as Konoha. Yes, I was there. That is exactly why I want you see. Because on that night, something happened to how should we say? Well, I wouldn't call him a friend. Or an associate. Let's just say that something happened to someone I know. She said, licking her lips. And since that day he's been missing. I've heard that you were on the scene. You were one of the few lucky ones that got to survive. The others I've spoken to, they didn't have any information to give me. What did you do to them? He asks. Oh, they're fine, honey, she said. Stop worrying. He swallowed once again. It's alright to be afraid, but as I said, I'm not gonna harm you, she said, holding on to the shivering man. I just want to know, what did you see that night? Did you perhaps saw something more shocking than the nine-tailed fox? Something that happened right before it. I heard that you were leaving canoe at the time. He swallowed thickly. Yes, I did see something. You did? Yes. Right when I was leaving, I saw some people in some strange hooded cloak. There was a lot of them. They were chanting some words. However, I ran, he said. You ran. But you did see something, didn't you? He nodded his head. I'm not sure. It was so long ago, miss. Oh, my name? You can call me Catherine, she said. So you did see something that night, correct? He nodded his head. That's all I need to hear. She gripped his throat. His eyes widened as she lifted him up. As she made eye contact with him, her eyes turned red, as his eyes turned red as well. As the man started to wibble and wabble on his feet, tried to get out of her hold, but he could not, until his arms dropped to his side. A smile creeped on her face as she saw what he saw all the way back then. But guys, to be instant right here, if you want to see this person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off now, see you guys soon. Peace.